This is Group 8 screencast submission. We chose to design a concise test for second level students to assess their ability to cope with and eventually complete a course in computer science or any course involving computing. As students of a computing course ourselves, we thought it would be a worthwhile and easily relatable problem to tackle, and we were interested in helping other students that have yet to decide on their course. Some of us struggle with that decision ourselves, unaware of what we'd need to know or the kind of skills we'd need to be able to deal with and eventually graduate in a course in computing. We had 3 goals in mind when designing the test. The first was to assess a student's suitability for a course in computing or a course that possessed computing elements to see if they already had the mental skills required or if they would have to work on developing those skills if they were to pursue a course in computing. The second goal was to provide an insight for those students as to the skills they would need. Before I chose my course, I had to do a lot of research as to what was involved in a computing course, and hopefully this test will give the students an idea as to what to expect from a computing course. And the third goal would be to help students come into their course better prepared so that they weren't beginning the course blind and not just figuring it out as they went along. Of course, there are limitations to the test, the first of which was that due to the test's nature, we'd only be able to provide a vague indication as to a student's suitability for a course in computing. It would also be very difficult to find second-level institutions that would be willing to allow us to present their students with the test. Many secondary schools would be unwilling to break their schedule to allow us time to assess the students, and many students may not be interested in doing the test. Ethically as well, our test can only assess certain skills, so it may falsely indicate that a student is suitable for a course in computing when they are not. This may lead to some embarking on a course that they are ill-equipped to deal with. Upon the test completion, we'd be able to use the quizzes we'd adopted from well-known tests to mark the student's aptitude for the course and then present it to them. After which, if the student had indicated that he were interested in following up on the course in computing, we could then conduct an interview with the student to allow them to ask questions and help them come to understand the course in computing. After which, the feedback from the students should indicate to us whether or not the test was of use or had been successful at all. After deciding on the project topic, we gathered to discuss the problem and how to approach it, deciding on roles, meeting times, and resources we'd make use of. After that, we drew up a schedule and marked the dates that we'd present the group with content we'd put together. In the group, Kieran was voted to be a chair. He'd be in charge of deciding the times we would work as a group on the project and would also check on us to see if we were having trouble with the task we were given, and if so, get other people to help that person. I was mainly in charge of writing up the slides for the presentation and voicing the screencast. I was also, alongside Patrick, tasked with gathering the relevant information to be used by the group. Patrick came up with most of the content that would be used in the test. He searched online and found most of the important information used in the test. Lucas had to compile the information that myself and Patrick had collected and would then work alongside Mikael in deciding on what was of most relevance to our test and the content that should be used in designing the test. The goal of our research was to find the main areas that students struggle with in computing courses. We used the internet to gather most of this information, reading forums, watching videos, and reading comments about the subject. My cousin had previously done a course with computing and struggled with the programming. He told me that he found keeping the logic of the program straight in his head and getting that down into the program was very difficult. He also talked of how it was difficult to plan where a program should start if you were tasked to create a program to deal with a problem. He helped to get a personal understanding of problem areas for some students. Lucas and Kieran came up with the idea of using forum posting as another way to get information and to interview people, but this later created some problems. Of course, our own experience in the course was used when providing information to be used in the test. We also asked a number of our fellow students areas they found hard about this course. Of course, there were a few problems, one of which was that none of the forum posts we created got any replies, which unfortunately meant that the personal interaction we had with students that had completed a computing course was very limited. Aside from my cousin, we couldn't locate anyone that had completed a computing course that was willing to talk to us about the difficulties of their course. There was also some problems with contacting various group members, as not all of them had Facebook accounts, which was our main form of communication. The main areas we had decided to test were maths ability, logical thinking, and abstract reasoning. Much of the online resources we used and people we talked to agreed that these are some of the more difficult areas of the course. Mikael was assigned to designing the maths element of the tests. Patrick and I found and decided upon the appropriate test for abstract reasoning, and Kieran and Lucas found the test that would assess a person's logical thinking. This is Group 8's screencast submission for the Problem Solving and Creative Thinking project. Thanks for listening.